Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe, Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm doing a wrap comparison. Butcher paper, foil paper, or nothing at all. Stay tuned. All right, so what I've got here is 3 racks of St. Louis cut pork ribs. And the rubs that I'm gonna use, very simple. I did cut these ends off, by the way, and I am gonna smoke these. Don't throw these away. You can either make sausage with it, or go ahead and cook it, smoke them, whatever it is that you want to do with them, and eat them as a snack. So these will be done in probably a couple of hours. The ribs, probably 3-4 hours. So on this rack here, actually all the racks are going to be rubbed exactly the same. I'm going to use the garlic jalapeno seasonal. I'm just going to do 1 rack of ribs, and I'll do the other ones off camera here. Now on these ribs, I didn't take the skirt off, okay? I didn't take the skirt off of any of them. I want a good meaty rib, so I decided to leave those on at the last minute. Okay. Get both sides. Put a good layer of this stuff. And be careful with this garlic jalapeno because it will make you sneeze if you're not careful. It always tries to sneak up on me, just like that. Second rub that I'm using is nutty pecan from Victory Lane Barbecue. Good layer of that. Just pat the rubs into the meat. Okay. Get both sides. And again, taking that membrane off allows more smoke penetration into the meat. So I love taking that off. I know a lot of people like to leave it on, but to me it's a tough piece of or tough membrane, so I take it off. All right, my very last rub is this cherry bomb rub from Victory Lane Barbecue. Give this a good layer as well, good coating. Pat it down before you flip it so you don't lose your rubs. And I'm not too worried about the edges either. This isn't a competition rib. I do want you to check out a couple of videos. One of them is from Tommy at the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. I'll leave a link up top so you can catch his videos. He recently did a video. If you notice, I didn't use any binders whatsoever. So he did a video where he used different binders, and I think that you'll be surprised by the results. I never use binder. I try not to use binder, but he used some Worcestershire sauce as a binder, and those ribs look actually pretty good. The second video that I want you guys to watch is one that Meat Cranium did. I'll also leave a link up top so you guys can catch his video when you're done with this one. 2 really good videos that I think that they did on binder comparisons. So check those videos out, guys. If you guys use binders, if you don't use binders, check out their videos. I think you'll learn a thing or two. All right, so this is essentially it. Now, I am going to cook these in my Yoder Frontiersman at 275 degrees, between 250 and 275. I'm going to cook them on the far left side where that smoker is a little bit cooler. And, you know, once these create a nice spark, at that point, I'm going to go ahead and spritz with apple cider vinegar and water. I do have this spray bottle here, and I get a lot of comments on where I got that bottle. It's just a pump bottle, and it sprays really nice, a nice fan. I got that from Proud Souls Barbecue up in Denver, Colorado. But if you just search Google for an orange spray bottle, I'm sure you're going to find it. So, but if you live in Denver, Colorado, go get it from Proud Souls Barbecue. So again, guys, this is essentially it. I'm going to let these rest for probably 30 minutes before they go in the smoker. That gives me enough time to go ahead and go out there and start my pit, so stay tuned. All right, so we're outside of my smoker, and the temperature up here on the top left gauge is right at 275, which indicates the temperature on this top grate is right at 275 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this rack out just to give me a good surface to work on here. And look at these beautiful ribs. Look at that. That's a Victory Lane. Now when you put your racks of ribs on your smoker, make sure you keep them nice and straight. That's that's the shape that they're gonna cook in. Okay. What I like to do is once they're nice and straight, just kind of push them together like this. Gets really thick, and the bones are a lot more pronounced as well. Okay, so there's one rack. I gotta tell you, man, this color, I mean, this rub has really drawn a lot of that moisture out of the rib. Man, this is a heavy rack. This is a really thick rack here. So again, push your rack in like that. That way it cooks more evenly as well, because you are gonna have a thinner side to these ribs, which is usually the end, one of the ends. And the meat gets closer together, so cooks a little bit more evenly. All right. That's it, guys. So again, my temperature was right at 275, 260, 275 I'm okay with. And I'm only gonna spritz once that rub is set, which is probably gonna be about an hour. So we'll see you guys back in about an hour, so stay tuned. All right, so I wanted to show you guys how I started my fire pit here. And I started off with a full basket of charcoal. I just used Kingsford Blue. Then I put 2 small splits and 1 large split of post oak. Usually I start my pit off with 2 splits. And that was about 40 minutes ago. And this is what we're down to here. You can see that the post oak is completely lit. And I've got some good orange embers on the bottom of that. And that's what you want. So again, it's been about 45 minutes since I started my pit. I just put the ribs in, and that's usually about the time that I give myself for the pit to warm up, about 45 minutes, and that got me to the 275 on the far left side. So just in case you guys are wondering, so stay tuned. All right, so it's been an hour now since I put the ribs in. Let's take a look and see what we got here. Oh yeah, that bark is set. Again, you can tell when the bark is set when the surface is nice and dry. Make sure you guys got a good picture there. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and spritz. Oh man, the color on these ribs is absolutely amazing. Be sure you put enough spritz there. There you go. Gonna push that in. I'm gonna go ahead and spritz the little pieces I cut off the ends there as well. Those are looking good. Probably gonna give this another, I don't know, probably 40 minutes before I even come back and wrap them, so stay tuned. All right, so I got the ribs off. They've been cooking for about an hour and a half now, and I'm just gonna spritz them. I'm not gonna put any butter bath or anything on these ribs. These are the foil ribs, obviously. Look at that, look at how meaty that is. Hopefully the color's coming on the camera. Just gonna flip them over and spritz the backside. Just like that. It's a little windy out here, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap them. Again, I like to twist my ends. Just fold it and twist it. And these are going to go back in there meat side down. So here's my butcher paper ribs. Again, I'm going to spritz these as well. Again, this is apple cider vinegar and water mixed at 50-50. Beautiful color on them as well. Go ahead and flip them. Spritz the backside of them. These are some meaty ribs, guys, I gotta tell you. These are Smithfield racks. Absolutely thick ribs. So at this point, just go ahead and wrap it. And these I'm just gonna fold in like that. And gonna put them back in the smoker, so stay tuned. All right, so I've got the ribs back in the smoker. Now I did spritz the top side of these ribs here, flip them over, and also spritz the back just to keep everything even. And I did rotate the ribs around, so this one was all the way on the right side, now it's on the far left, and I rotated these two around. So gonna give these about an hour or so to get some more. Actually, this is the only one that's going to get some more smoke. So I expect for this one to win because there's no wrap. But we will see. So we'll check back in about an hour or so. Stay tuned. All right, so we're at 2.5 hours again, 1 hour wrapped. And I want to take a look at these ribs. Oh, man. Look at these. Holy smokes. Oh, man, they're juicy. Extremely juicy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take these out of the foil. So again, I didn't put anything in here, any liquid, other than just spritzed it with a little bit of the apple cider vinegar and water. Oh man, these are tender. Oh yes. Look at all that liquid. All that water that came out of these. Water and fat there. Look at that. These are looking really good. So these are looking good. A little dry on the top, but I'll spritz that here in a minute. And let's take a look at these with the butcher paper. And again, the meat side was down on all 3 racks. So this one here, interesting. Little, I mean, it's not dry, but it's not as moist as the ones that were wrapped in foil paper, that's for sure. But they're hot. They're really hot and really juicy. You can see the surface is nice and wet still. So that's what we look like after 2.5 hours. Now I'm going to spritz this one here because the surface is a little bit dry. Put that in there. I'm going to give these a little bit of a spritz again just to keep everything fair. Okay, now I'm going to run them. Spilled a little bit of sauce here on the smoker, so I'll wipe that down immediately. All right, so I'm going to let them sit like that back in the smoker for about 30 minutes. And at that point, I'm going to come back and we're going to sauce them. So stay tuned. All right, so it's been another 30 minutes, and let's take a look at these ribs now. Time to sauce them up. So what I'm going to use is this original rum barbecue sauce from Our House Barbecue. I absolutely love this barbecue sauce. I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. I'm not paid by this company. I purchased these myself. Absolutely amazing barbecue sauce. In fact, I'm going to turn them over first. And they're tender. I can feel them falling apart under my fingers right now. In fact, I'm just going to probe them here real quick. Oh man, look at this. It's like butter, a bone. Look at this. Oh man, that's ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sauce them again with this Our House Barbecue original rum sauce. Give them all a really nice coating. Backside first. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this one here, then I'll do the other 2 off camera. This is the butcher paper rack. Okay. So I'm going to flip these over and get the top side. Just like that. What I like to do is just dab some of the sauce on there, somewhere in the middle. Dab enough of it. Then come back and spread it. Now this sauce is not a really thick barbecue sauce. I'm not a barbecue sauce fan, I'm not. But this sauce right here is absolutely perfect. If there was a perfect barbecue sauce out there, to me this one's it. It's got such an amazing flavor, and it does have rum in it. But obviously they cook it down where the alcohol evaporates. Don't want to brush it too much or too hard actually to disturb the rubs. That's what we look like right there. So I'm gonna do the other two off camera and I'll bring you guys back, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So I've got the ribs here, and this is the one with no wrap. This is the one with foil paper, and this is the one with butcher paper. So right out of the gate, I can tell you that this one right here with no wrap, they were all about the same size. So this one's really thin, which tells me it lost a lot of moisture sitting out there with no wrap. The one in foil, you guys may have seen that. When I took it out of the foil, there was a lot of moisture inside of that foil paper. And this one with the butcher paper is really thick, which tells me it still has a lot of moisture. So totally different shapes now. Thin, a little bit kind of medium, and this one's really thick. I went ahead and sliced one rib off of each one. From a smoke ring standpoint, this is the one with just butcher paper. It's got a good smoke ring about halfway through. Just gonna put it up top. This one doesn't look like I cut it all the way through. Let's check this one out. This is the one with foil paper. Again, decent sized smoke ring from the top and the bottom. Let me check this one here. Same with this one. I think this one has a bigger smoke ring. And let's try the one with no wrap. I'm expecting a big smoke ring off of this one. Oh yeah, almost the entire rib has a smoke ring. See that there? So let's give them a taste. Stay tuned. All right, so welcome back for the taste test. So one more thing that I'm gonna do to these ribs is I'm gonna put some of this gold dust. I'm gonna sprinkle just a little bit on the top of these ribs that I'm gonna eat. And this has a really good flavor. It gives it a little bit of a pop towards the end. It does have some brown sugar and some other spices. So just a little bit on the ribs that I'm gonna bite into. Just like that, perfect. Give it that extra pop on the top. It's kind of like a finishing dust, if you will. So I'm gonna go from left to right. This is the rib with no wrap. Give it a taste here. Man. Really good smoky flavor. Really good rib. That was really tasty. It's gonna be hard to beat that. But this is the one with foil. Look at that bite through. This rib was more tender, a lot more tender, okay? Kind of came off the bone a little bit easier. Let's check the one with butcher paper. Again, big smoke ring. Here we go. Look at that bite through. Man, Our House barbecue. That barbecue sauce is absolutely delicious. All right, so here's my verdict. From a smoke flavor standpoint, definitely, which I love, the ones with the heavier smoke presence are the naked ribs, the one with no wrap, okay? Now, they're not as tender as these two. So to me, that's a downfall. So let me give it another bite here, just to make sure. Because I did get that one from the end. Actually, they all came from the end. It's tender, but not as tender as these two, okay? Still an amazing rib. That Yoder Frontiersman, I gotta tell you, best ribs ever, first of all, okay? Now, from a juicy standpoint, the one with butcher paper, a lot juicier. I mean, just biting into the rib, I can tell you that it has a lot. It's tender, number one, and really juicy, okay? The one with foil, really good flavor, None of these are dry, by the way, but not as juicy as the one with butcher paper. Now, all of them have a similar flavor profile with the exception of the no wrap. The one with no wrap has a heavy smoke presence, which I like. And I know a lot of you out there like that because I've talked to many of you guys that have cooking channels as well. You guys want a heavier smoke presence. Well, this has it, okay? And you can get them a little bit more tender, probably leave them on there for 30 more minutes. But to me, in this comparison, the butcher paper is the winner because it's tender, it's juicy, and didn't lose a lot of moisture, which is good, and that's probably why it's a lot more, or has a lot more juicy bite to it, if you will. But the flavor profile is very similar. That sauce from Our House Barbecue and those rubs from Victory Lane, that gold dust on the top, I got to tell you, just sprinkle it just a little bit like that, okay? Gives your ribs a nice pop. So get you some of that as well. Really happy with all these ribs. I'll eat any of these any day of the week. But to me, the winner is butcher paper. Thanks for watching. If this is your first time here, you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button down there. Till next time, Joe, Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.